very accidental. It was very unintentional. It is kind of a coincidence that the very first song that I wrote, lyrically speaking, was Californication, the song Californication. Before John even came back into the band, I had written that as kind of the tone. And then when he came back, that was the first thing I took over to his house and said, let's make a song. But we didn't ever think of calling the record Californication until it was completely finished. The record was done, in the can, ready to ship, and we were trying to think of what we were going to call the record. And that was my suggestion, and Flea actually fought it for quite a while. Flea was frightened by the nature of the suggestion. And then it wasn't until we kind of looked back at it and we went, wow, there's a lot of reference to California. But to me that seems very natural. Very, it wasn't forced or it wasn't conceived, it wasn't preconceived, it wasn't a concept album. It's just, that's the way it turned out.
Psyche spies from China try to steal your mind's elation, and little girls from Sweet Home Dream, silver screen quotation. And if you want these kind of dreams, it's Californication. It's the head of the world in all the Western civilization. The sun may rise in the east at least. It's settled in a final location. It's understood that Hollywood sells Californication. Oh Lord, hell, take me down now. Help us out, help us out. Hey, I served on very well to break the spell of aging. Celebrity skin, is this your chin, or is that war you're waging? First bone unicorn, hot dog, soft punk, dream of Californication.
What that song means to me is it's really what California does to the rest of the world, in particular what the entertainment industry does to the rest of the world. When I think about that, mostly I think about the media and how immensely it influences, other cultures. And the thing, to me, it's like 99% evil, 99% of it robs people of their individuality and their creativity, and it stops people from searching and looking for their own type of beauty and art. You know what I mean? It's like, even it's changed since I was a kid. Like when we were kids, you get excited about a record you hear, and you call up your friend, did you hear the new Captain Beefheart record? You gotta hear this, it's so weird. And then you try to find records of the same guys that played on it and all that stuff, and it's just like excitement, and that's how movements start. That's how different pockets of culture and creativity start. And now it's everyone's hearing the same shit. Everyone's getting the same thing forced down their throat, and the search is stunted. I find that that's the world being fucked by the media.
Usually Val and I can agree on an idea pretty quickly, but for Californication, we argued for literally weeks trying to come up with the right idea. And we finally called the management and said, you know what?
It's not coming together.
We don't have an idea that we both like, and it's just, we may just have to bow out. Mark Ryder, who works with the band, came back and said, listen, just give it one last try. And somehow, we came up with the idea of a video game.
We all had to contribute different elements of our personality to kind of make this together. And that's why you have me kind of swimming in the ocean with the sharks, and how Chad ended up on a snowboard, I'll never know, because I don't think he ever has been on a snowboard.
Well, I'm a pretty good snowboarder. I've never snowboarded in my life.
The premise of the game was fairly simple. Each member of the band starts in a different part of California, and their goal is to hook up in Los Angeles and, you know, come together as a band. They just move through various obstacles on their way to their central meeting place. They end up in downtown LA as the city collapses around them, and they fall into the center of the earth, and there they land and join hands and turn into real people. We talked to each band member and asked them if there's anything that they like to do, or just trying to get a sense of what each person's journey might be. And didn't Flea just say something about, I like the idea of a bear, of me shitting in the woods, and a bear shitting in the, I don't know, it was something about a bear and him, and in the woods, and someone was shitting.
That girl that I run into with the big tattoo on her belly, that's from a picture that Anthony had of a girl. I'm like fighting the loggers and being nature guy and want to save the trees and going through the woods and stuff. And
we each had to go to some place in Beverly Hills where the doctors take the pictures of your head from every possible angle so they can give that to the computer people so they can make the caricature of you.
John really loves Da Vinci a lot. They show, the Mona Lisa there, then they have Da Vinci, invented this flying contraption, and John's in the Da Vinci flying contraption.
Anthony, we knew he was going to be driving this car, and we asked him what he wanted on the license plate, and he loved the Germs, this punk band from LA, so he just put Germs on there. There was this one game, Crazy Taxi.
That was the biggest inspiration,
Yeah,
I think, for this. Was
where this taxi just drives around and is able to go up on sidewalks and run over people. We knew that the whole gaming world was going to change with the next generation of video games. And at the time, PlayStation 2 was not available in America, so we were able to get a gray market version of the game, or of the box, from Japan. So we showed them all these new Japanese games that completely raised the bar in terms of realism and detail. You want to use the giant donut? Sure, let's build it. How big do you want it? You want a car to fly through it? Sure, no problem.
Yeah. You want him to fly out of the car and land on a dragonfly? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Getting these, video game versions of the band was the hardest, most stressful. I just remember going, that doesn't look anything like Flea. Oh God, they're just gonna think, they look like freaks. And they didn't even make any comments on how they looked, really. John was a big Leonardo da Vinci fan, so it was just like, okay, well, yeah, we'll put him in one of his flying machines. You just do anything. And I think it's sort of liberating to think, well, anything's possible because we're gonna create it all in CG.
I guess this is the first time in a video that I ever showed my arms, since my arms have been scarred, because my arms are pretty badly scarred. I guess people are always wondering, so I might as well say that that the way that my arms got the way that they look was from abscesses, which came from shooting huge amounts of drugs. The results could have been a lot worse, so I'm happy to have the scars from a period of my life where I was living destructively, just as a sign of what I've been through. And these days I'm being healthy and taking care of my body is so important to me. But looking at it here, it seems like my arms have gotten better since then, so it's nice to see.
Jonathan and Valerie are great filmmakers, and they did a really interesting creative job, and I'm happy that they did it.